What's up, guys? Today I want to talk a little bit about Ciara's fourth pregnancy, number 5 on the way. But before I do, I want to talk about this interesting correlation that I'm seeing that is leading to a lot of what I believe is almost like the gold rush and baby fever that we are seeing, not only here in America, but globally. Over the past decade in the US, we've been seeing a significant drop in the birth rate, and it's influenced by economic, social, and demographic factors. The general fertility rate, births per 1,000 women of childbearing age, declined by around 20% from 2007 to 2020, with the birth rate dropping from 69.5 to 55.8 by 2020. And in 2023, the U.S. reported 3.59 million births, a further decline from previous years. This is according to Pew Research and the CDC. Now, why is this important? Because we all know about the overturn of Roe v. versus Wade. If you don't know, in June of 2022, the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. And in this particular ruling, the power to regulate abortion shifted to individual states, allowing them to create their own laws on abortion access without federal intervention. Since this decision, many conservative states have enacted restrictive abortion laws or outright bans, while others have moved to safeguard abortion rights through legislation or state constitutional amendments. So, obviously, we can connect the dots here. With the birth rates declining, they are scrambling to maintain the patriarchy. And sometimes they have a tendency to go off into a soapbox or turn it into some sort of virtual signaling prospect. They are absolutely policing the bodies of women. And mainly, they are doing this in order to maintain the patriarchy, to maintain male dominance. With women not necessarily having to be tied down with children, it makes them a prime candidate for a rise in the economy. And what we are seeing is, as I pointed out in other videos, that men require, not just need or want, require the support of women in order for them to elevate. Listen to what Will Smith says here.
I don't know if I've ever said this. You know how I'm a scientist, so everything is science for me.
Yes.
I read something when we first got together that the most successful men in history have been married.
Right.
I knew that I would squander my life if I was running around.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
The way my mind works, I can only excel for a woman.
Now, when you put it all together, what you are seeing is it's not just the woman's ability to reproduce. It is also the woman's ability to pour into a man that is helping him to elevate his status. And now this is becoming more increasingly clear as with women given the choice, they're choosing themselves. And people act like this is a cardinal sin, and they're turning this into some sort of villainization of women for prioritizing themselves, right? They're turning this into something ugly, something heinous, something that they're doing against society. When in actuality, women just simply want to walk in their purpose, be happy, be free. And if a man comes along and he adds to that happiness and freedom, then great. But having children nowadays is much more intensive than generations prior. Okay? You're having to be involved with your children and their sports events and their ambitions. And being a good parent is a much, much higher task to meet, in my opinion, than generations prior. Okay? You can send your kids outside, ride a bike. Look at Stranger Things. Them damn kids all over the place. Their parents don't know what the hell they doing. They out there slaying monsters and turning into superheroes. Come on. And that was based on the 80s. So we're looking at Gen X and early millennials being the end of an era. Because now you got your kids, they're sitting in the house, they're playing Fortnite, they're glued to their phones. They need to be in karate, they need to be in activities, etc., etc. So having more than one to two kids is like mind-numbing for most parents, because they're the ones that are doing the most with them. And so forcing women into a position where they are having multiple children can impede their progress in life, more so now than ever, especially based on the information I'm about to share with you here. This has been a bit of a hot debate about abortion restrictions in Russia, and it's sparking outrage as the country takes a conservative turn. So many men, surprise, surprise, seem to be in alignment with the ideas and values of Russia.
I don't see any gays and liberals on the streets. I see men and women couples. I don't see transvestites. I don't see homeless people. This place is heaven on earth. I'm moving here forever.
The interesting part about Russia, in addition to having a facade of a lovely trad wife and nuclear family, a utopia, their domestic violence rates are out of proportion. Now check this out. According to studies, women who have experienced intimate partner violence are consistently found to have poor sexual and reproductive health when compared to non-abused women. But the mechanisms through which such associations occur are inadequately defined. However, they are finding a link between a woman giving birth and being more open to sex and being sexually indiscriminate when she has previously been abused. Pay attention. So the birth rates are declining in America. Okay. Roe v. versus Wade was overturned. Okay. Then you have in Russia almost absolutely no laws against domestic violence, where men can't even be tried for domestic violence. So it's so high. Interesting how those things are correlated. So here we are. Men are being able to see traditional nuclear homes. Higher domestic violence rates lead to women being more open for sex. Sex leads to babies. And now you're in a country that does not. Now Russia is a country that is cracking down on abortion laws, and they have hardly any laws against domestic violence. Isn't that interesting? In the article, it reads, right now, there is no room for political action in Russia. The only place left is the kitchens. And I'm probably butchering this guy's name, but I'm going to give it a try. Yakovleva, co-founder of the Feminative Community Women's Group, told the Associated Press, and here it is, a public place well known in Kaliningrad, and everyone spoke out openly about how they see this measure, why they think it's unjustified and inappropriate. Although abortion is still legal and widely available in Russia, recent attempts to restrict it have touched a nerve, according to the increasing conservative country. Activists are urging supporters to make official complaints, circulating online petitions, and even staging small protests. In my opinion, I see this as a cry for help. I believe men in general are in crisis mode, and it shows, right? But allow me to speak the obvious. It appears that they feel that masculinity is under attack. And what I mentioned earlier was them needing both the servitude, support, and the womb of women, not just one or the other. I know they try to trick you into believing that the support and the encouragement you give them is very little to no value, but it is actually indispensable to them having a more productive life. That being said, I can tell that men all around feel that their masculinity is under attack. So this leads me to Ciara and Russell Wilson. I love that they're a married couple. I love that, at least in the public eye, he treats her very well. But for her to be on her fourth pregnancy with her fifth kid, it raises questions for me. Hear me out. In 2020, Ciara explicitly said she did not want to have more kids.
For you?
What?
Serious question.
No, what is going on?
Can we have more babies? I mean, it would be perfect. Just give me one more at least, you know?
And here she is since 2020 with 3 more kids, 2 on the way. And I know we like to think of Russell Wilson as Mr. Perfect, but no man is perfect. And when you look at what he's doing with Ciara, which is one woman, it's actually what Future reproductively did with all of his baby mamas. It's almost like they're in a competition to see who's more man by making a baby. It's like, in my opinion, it feels like, oh yeah, you know what? I can make more babies with my wife and take care of a family and your son.
And now, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., and Cillian Murphy.
I'm gonna need to take you out that latex. Fine, I'll keep you in it.
And here you are just creating broken homes. I'm a better man than you, Future. I'm a better man than you. And in a sense, yeah, totally. But in a sense, there is something behind that that's making me give it a true side eye. And I know some of you are believers and you just cannot see no wrong with this couple, its goals, etc., etc. But men are always going to be men. And in that, they're going to pursue what they want. They're going to pursue the woman that they want. They're going to pursue the reality that they want. Ciara was just making her way on tour, and now she's pregnant with twins. Ciara said she didn't want more kids and explicitly told him later, and he kept knocking her up. And I found an interesting study on why men do these things. According to studies, the psychology behind male reproductive control, often referred to as reproductive coercion, encompasses a variety of behaviors used by men to manipulate or limit a woman's reproductive autonomy. This can involve actions like contraceptive sabotage, forced continuation of termination of pregnancy, and using emotional or physical coercion to control reproductive choices. Now, obviously, this part goes along a little bit more with the whole Russia aspect of keeping, domestic violence as not a huge deal and, pushing the trad wife lifestyle. Women need to get out of the boardrooms and get into the kitchen. And I think that if that was women's choice to do so, totally up for it, because women's liberation isn't about being able to do one particular thing, but it's about living to your fullest potential. And if you want, if you choose to be in service of others as your fullest potential, then so be it. But every woman, I believe she's human, has the right to choose and decide which direction she want to go. And in my opinion, I feel like Ciara didn't really want to go in that direction. I'm not saying that Russ, coerced her as much as probably bugged the shit out of her to get another baby. And I'm not saying that Russ, did anything to, psychologically disturb her. But I'm saying that feeling of masculinity being under attack is a feeling that even the most evolved man is grappling with right now. Okay? Even the most evolved man is grappling with right now. So oftentimes they are using the children to slow these women down, to pour more into the households and what they're showing is their hand. They're showing that they need the woman servitude and womb in order for him to compete in this often economically depraving society. And they're just doing and acting out of fear, really. Fear of their masculinity being under attack and fear of women no longer choosing to help them improve and creating a home base to stabilize them, but choosing themselves and using their magic and energy for themselves. And I think that, in my opinion, it would probably be better for men to have a wider definition of what masculinity is. It's such a small definition, and it's so dependent on factors that really often can be beyond their control, that I think it's unfair for them to have that be the only or maybe the few things that they use to rate their masculinity by, because all men are affected by it. This is why I feel like somebody like Russell Wilson could actually be in competition with Future secretly to prove that he's just the better man. Someone like Future has swag. Someone like Future has all of the interests of the bros and the girls, and he's that toxic masculinity that is often celebrated. So that's going to have some sort of effect, whether people like it or not. I know some people don't agree, like, what would Russell have to do it? And that's his wife, and et cetera, et cetera. But like I said, if you were paying attention, okay, she said she didn't want more kids. And now she is with more kids. Period. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Am I totally off base? Is this just wild assertions? Even though I provided receipts. So just let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.